It is officially almost the NFL preseason, so I've got some preseason NFL playoff predictions. First, this is what I predict every team to go this season. And that leaves the Texans and the 49ers as our 1 seeds. The Texans, I think that they are just assembling the Avengers on offense, and I think that their offense might actually rival the 49ers this season, so I think they will take the 1 seed. And then the 49ers, on the other hand, I think that they're a solid roster overall. Even if they lose Brandon Ayuk to free agency, I think that they can retake the 1 seed this year. The 2 seeds, we have the Chiefs and the Packers. I don't think I really need to explain the Chiefs, but the Packers, on the other hand, I know you're mad about this pick, but hear me out. They were 9-3 at the end of last season, and if they hadn't gone 2-5 at the very beginning of the season, it would have gone a lot differently. If they start out better this year, you got to watch out for them. Then we've got the 3 seeds with the Cincinnati Bengals and the Atlanta Falcons. The Bengals, I don't have to explain much. They were good a couple years ago, and then Joe Burrow got injured, and they still almost made the playoffs. I think that they'll be back having another good season next year. And then the Atlanta Falcons, on the other hand, I think that Kirk Cousins is going to be a great fit for their offense. They've got a lot of great weapons in Drake London, Kyle Pitts, and Bijan Robinson, and I think that Kirk Cousins will be able to lead them to the playoffs. Then the 4 seeds, we've got the Miami Dolphins. It was a toss-up between the Dolphins and the Bills, but I gave it to the Dolphins just because the Bills lost Stephon Diggs. And then the Eagles, they have to win because it's not going to be the Commanders or the Giants, and no team wins that division twice in a row, so it's not going to be the Cowboys. So that just leaves the Eagles. Then the 5 seeds, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Lions. The Jaguars started off like 8-2 last season, and then I don't know what happened, but they fell off. And so I think that they'll be back next year, and I think they could probably make the playoffs under Trevor Lawrence. And then the Lions, I think that they'll be the best team in the NFL not to win their division, so I gave them the 5 seed in the NFC. The 6 seeds, we have the Los Angeles Chargers and the Arizona Cardinals, and I think the Chargers will be back being a decent team this year. Last year, the only reason that they sucked so bad was because their coaching was just horrendous. They've got Jim Harbaugh, and he's trying to fix up their roster despite losing a ton of pieces. I think that they'll be able to make the playoffs. And then the Cardinals, on the other hand, they're used to having a good receiver like Marvin Harrison. Look back to what they did with Larry Fitzgerald. I think that this organization knows how to run an offense like that, and I think that they can make the playoffs. And then the 7 seeds, we have the New York Jets and the Commanders. It's kind of a toss-up between the Jets and the Ravens, so I just gave it to the Jets because Aaron Rodgers, I think he can make the playoffs one last time under this new team. The Commanders, on the other hand, have Jaden Daniels, who I think is going to be the best rookie quarterback this season. I don't know if he'll be the best in the long run. I actually think Michael Penix Jr. might be the best on the Falcons in the future, but that's a story for a different video. The Commanders make it as a 7 seed. And that brings us to our bracket. The first matchup we have is the Chiefs versus the Jets. This will be the first matchup between Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers. This matchup has been set to happen like 2 or 3 different times, but Aaron Rodgers or Patrick Mahomes wasn't able to make it on all those occasions. So they're finally going to have their matchup here, and I think it's just a couple years too late. Aaron Rodgers, I don't think, will still be in his prime at the end of the season, if he even makes it there, and so I'm going to give this to the Chiefs. And then underneath that, we have the Bengals versus the Chargers. And although Jim Harbaugh brought this team to the playoffs, I don't think his first year there is going to lead them to a deep playoff run. So I'm going to put the Bengals there. And underneath that, we have the Dolphins versus the Jaguars. And the Dolphins are going to be a pretty weak 4 seed. I think that the Jaguars will take this. And then over to the NFC, we have the Packers versus the Commanders. And although Jaden Daniels has had a great rookie season, I don't think he's going to get a playoff win in his first year. So I'll take the Packers. And then underneath that, we have the 3-seeded Falcons versus the Cardinals. And I think that Kirk Cousins will be able to take away a playoff victory here, move past the Cardinals to the divisional round. And underneath that, we have the Eagles versus the Lions. And I think the Lions will be back this year looking for that Super Bowl that they were so close to getting to last year, so they will make it on to the divisional round. Back over to the AFC for the divisional round, we have the Texans versus the Jaguars, a divisional rivalry, and I think the Texans are just going to be able to take this no matter what. They've already played twice in the season. They're used to playing them, and I think they're just the better overall team. And then underneath that is the Chiefs versus the Bengals, a very famous playoff matchup throughout the past couple years, and I think Patrick Mahomes' kryptonite is going to take him down once more with Joe Burrow. And yeah, I know it's crazy I'm not having the Chiefs go into the Final Four for the first time in like 6 years, but at some point that streak is going to come to an end, and I'm guessing it will be this year. And then back over the NFC, we have the 49ers versus the Lions, a repeat of the NFC Championship last year, and the Lions will be back for vengeance, and they will upset the 1-seeded 49ers. And underneath that is the Packers versus the Falcons, and Kirk Cousins will be playing against his old divisional rival in the Packers from the NFC North. with, and I think that the Packers will just be the better team and will be able to move on to the championship. The AFC Championship, we have the Texans versus the Bengals, an offensive shootout that will be a very good game. And once again, I just think that the Texans are the better overall team in this stance, and with a new offense, they will be getting better with every single game this season, even into the postseason. In the NFC Championship, we have the Packers versus the Lions, and the Packers have been to 6 NFC Championship games in the last 20 years, and the one that they were able to win was against a different divisional rival in the Chicago Bears. So give me the Packers over the Lions for this game. In the Texans versus the Packers, I have been guessing this game to be the Super Bowl since day one of after last season, and I'm going to stick by it probably throughout the entire season unless one of these two teams falls off really hard. And I'm going to give this game to the Packers because it seems like every 14 years may be the new trend with the Packers. 1997, Brett Favre won the Super Bowl. 14 years later, Aaron Rodgers won the Super Bowl. 14 years later, Jordan Love is ready to win his first Super Bowl. So those were my predictions for the 2024 NFL playoffs. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. It'd help me out so much more than you think. And if you didn't, you can just go and yell at me in the comments. That's what you guys love to do anyway. But either way, thank you for watching.